There we go. Welcome, one and all, to the Epilogue. This is not a proper D&D session, nor is this anything else. This is nothing more than the epilogue for what happens afterwards. Currently, Rejected Potential is muted, so they can talk to each other, but I can't hear them. As I read out the epilogue and what they decided to do with their characters in the end, as well as a little bit of home rolling because of the fact certain characters have achieved things that weren't going to fall in the epilogue. So, due to this, there are some things that are going to change slightly. Firstly, let's start off with the overall. As Cyrus, the Ever-Wise, as he would be given the name of, the new High King of the entirety of this world and the multiverse, this multiverse itself of Silencia and Cremia, gain power, the champions of Pyrrhus would declare, with the ringing of the bells at Stonehold amongst their academy, these bells would be heard for all around the world, noting the Age of Peace had begun. The age had been named in the honor of Zaya Silversong's rise to power as a god and becoming the first god to ever exist in the mantle of peace. Cyrus would be given the name the Ever-Wise as the god who chose to continue to persevere in the knowledge to defeat and usher in a new era in the world, thus giving him this title of the Ever-Wise. Many of the other gods would begin to fall out of power due to Cyrus's position, those who were considered too violent or caused discrimination against others. Cyrus would immediately begin a full purge of the gods, those who were not needed, and reorganizing them under a single roof, causing a unification, if you will, representing many pantheons, or having the pantheons re-switched up to where instead each domain would have multiple gods of that domain of the different races. However, they would all be treated as equal. Normac would be given a higher position as the new High King's personal smith, having been recognized for his ability and by all the other gods' recommendation for him to create weapons. He would become the first god of the smiths and would overtake his buddy, who would become his new apprentice, being Homescus. The High Queen, given her part in the battle, would beg Cyrus for forgiveness, and in exchange, she would promise to give up full divinity if she could bring back her first husband and her first love of Homescus, promising to give her daughters the position of running the plane of elements and organizing it to be less chaotic and deathly. They would take up this role, still keeping some divine power, but not being recognized as gods themselves, rather ruling over a domain in itself to keep it from being less chaotic and solidifying magic. Continuing on, Zarius the First, if you will, the youngest of the brothers, would decide to join Kurgan in his expeditions and position, continuing to run the Guild of the Black Talon as an adventuring and merchant guild, and opening it up to become one of the first universal banks to recognize currency around the world. This would take him time, but would become one of the first main focuses of unifying the world in a time of peace. Now for our beloved heroes and what would end up happening to them. Freya would retire and retire from adventuring overall, returning back to the cave where the dwarven ruins were and setting up her home to live in peace, as she would spend her time tinkering and learning magic again, learning that Zilpip was never actually killed, that man that they saw was actually Pipliz, the man who experimented on her and used her as a personal testing dummy. Given that, giving her a great smile, seeing that Pipliz was torn apart and basically had his soul eaten by the High King, allowed her to sleep in peace for a long time. Eventually she would disappear from the history books, and would become nothing more than a figure to the Dragonborn themselves and what they could rise from, and leading to the lizard folk themselves, who were in similar positions of slavery, to eventually rise up and create their own small kingdom in the Dragonborn lands. with Freya as their as their figure of focus. She would continue to visit the others, but more as a passive adventurer, not as a main figure of notoriety. Many would claim to see her traveling with a simple man named Torin, also known as the Crimson Shield, but few would recognize her in these times of being. For Malthor, he would spend his time rebuilding and heading the new order of Normax Smiths. He would become one of the most notable smiths in the lands, and would go on to teach many dwarves, tieflings, and other races, anybody who offered to apprentice under him. Eventually even becoming as great as Ogum in his ability to craft gear and items. Although Malthor would take a different approach. While Ogum was still one of the most notable weapons and armor smith, Malthor would instead take his time and take teachings from his god and focus on inventions and creations to better society as a whole in times of peace, creating the first steam engine to the world and causing a full industrial revolution to begin in the Tiefling lands, where he would set up shop and create his main temple to Normac. The next on this list, Tikva. Tikva would take her time to help reorganize the Kingdom of Dragon's Gate alongside Kurgan, making sure to instill a everlasting peace in the kingdom, as well as organizing more trade routes in a more secured position in the eastern kingdoms. Returning to the castle, she would find there a man known only as her husband, the beloved Gaul, babysitting and watching a young Zaya, who would be later told that was being protected and guarded by Cyrus to ensure she was not captured. And Gaul would finally spill his guts, informing Zaya that yes, in fact, he is Calfell. However, as a request to the new High King, Cyrus, and Cyrus's love for his new wife, he would request to give up his divine powers, and rather to be able to spend his mortal life with Tikva, and to request that she be given her life back, and no longer be considered undead. This would be, of course, given, and Gaul would retire to sit as a very simple consort and continue his utter nuisancy on poor Tikva as he continued to increase and make more well known the art of nudity and fighting in the nude. A full dojo would actually be created in Gaul's honor for both thumb fighting and fighting in the nude. Now, to this day, this monk order still exists. Tikva would also offer and begin to raise Burr and Gelsera as her own adopted children. Zaya Jr. still being considered the main heir, but both would be recognized as part of the House of Silver Song and given full right as prince and princess of the kingdom. Both would take up position as dukes in the kingdom of the in the Empire of the Silver Song. Way of the wavering thumb. Yes. Burr would take the south, and Gelsera would take the east, focusing on trade and rebuilding their kingdoms as they studied under Tikva and learned all that they could of the House of Silver Song. Gelsera would even eventually switch over from learning the art of ranger to become a bard, and in respect to Zaya and Tikva's ancestors, pick up the Silver Song lute as her main item, to which she would spend her nights when in the capital, singing songs of the House of Silver Song's deeds to Zaya Jr. Trade would eventually come back to the Tiefling lands, and the colonies reestablished, and with peace uttering in, the Yuan-Ti would begin to work to teach the Tieflings of more and more of their magic and abilities, even allowing for the Tieflings to eventually vassalize the Changelings and giving them new lands within the colonies. And some would even say that E2 herself was seen amongst the Changelings. As the kingdom would grow, more and more would build, more lands would come under the fold of the Empire of Silver Song, including the new Snow Elves. and their established kingdom, after paying, of course, the unfortunate war chest that they owed to the tieflings after invading their colonies and taking so many. A council would be created with representation all around the empire, with taking the best of the best, as well as bringing in members that would agree to forge an alliance with Tikva to be represented amongst this council. This would also include a couple of small pieces of information we'll get to. Zaya would... Moving on with Zaya, she would spend her time traveling the cosmos of this multiverse alongside the new High King known as Cyrus, spending her time in peace and relaxation. And although no children could be born due to their divinity, both are able to recognize and adopt those that needed. Zaya would be at the forefront for pushing for further peace and the avoidance of any more bloodshed and unwanted attention. This would eventually lead to the Pope of the High King being cut down by a champion who stated that he represented Zaya in her time of peace, and unfortunately, due to breaking the requirements of the new church found under her, would eventually be cut down, with being an unknown character to the world. The two would learn much, as Cyrus would invite her to every meeting he had with the gods of the beyond, where Thief would congratulate him for breaking the chain and the expectation. And those two would continue to live and honor this peace for many years. Anton, though not a god at this point, and not given godhood at this time, would be recognized as the son of Cyrus in full blood and honored and respected as his lead representative as the head of his church. Anton would become a major figure for politics and the representation. He would spend his time assisting the other Heli in finally coming into the fold, as they would continue to resist into the next 20 to 30 years against the new High King and his powers. He would, though, spend much of his time when not pushing the Heli to fall in line with the rest of the world, teaching and mentoring over Burr as he taught him the ways of magic, and doing whatever he can to assist in Cyrus's goal for the future. Kurgan, being one of the few characters who originally had no plans to become notable in the future, having only the goal to serve as a general under the new Tiefling monarchy, would decide instead, with a little coaxing from Zarius, to take over the territories of Dragon's Gate and reorganize it alongside the help with Zarius, who would assist him in all ways possible, causing the kingdom of Dragon's Gate to become one of the most prosperous in the world, even outshining those of the Tiefling as well as Gnomish empires. With their main export being a fire-like whiskey that many would declare was too spicy to drink without a high enough constitution. Kurgan would continue to spend his years doing this, and eventually ending up with an agreement with the barkeep and main merchant of the Kingdom of Dragon's Gate of Voluvia to take her on as his new wife for political reasons, to keep both the High Elves as well as the Snow Elves within an alliance to his kingdom and keeping their trade partners open. Although not much would come of these two, Kurgan would eventually have an heir who would serve under him and continue to learn of the kingdom, or study under the kingdom, ushering in even more further peace, as the old Dwarven kingdom would recognize Dragon's Gate and begin to send recommendations for a possible alliance between marriage of the Princess of the Vadan and the Dragon's Gate prince. The world would go on. Zilpip himself, one of the more important characters of the campaign for the background, would decide to take up the High King before the battle and take up his deal to be teleported to a new multiverse, in exchange that he would no longer interfere or return to here. After the High King would burn one of his major favors, Zilpip would be banished to this new multiverse where he would spend his days studying magic and science, in a world, or in a multiverse where the gods were never created or existed. He would spend his life in peace and prosperity, enjoying the quietness of it, and never returning to these lands. Finally, being able to relax and not worry about the gods. However, he would note, with one last piece of magic that he had left from that world, to look onto it and see Tikva, Zaya, and the rest of them utter the words, "Fuck the gods," and that would bring both a tear and a smile to Zilpip's face as he looked on. Zilpip's two sons would reunite with their mother before, after finally chasing her down to her the plane of existence she was banished to, returning with her and spending their lives in the Tiefling kingdoms, serving under Tikva as higher-ranking soldiers and sort of mercenaries, as they would spend their time guarding trade routes and enjoying the life of what they've managed to gain, as well as spending a little time chasing down Tarasques and hunting other individual monsters. Many would fall, many would rise. The world would continue on, though, as peace was brought for a time. Some will wonder what will come next. Some will wonder who will rise. But all we can tell you is that the next campaign will be starting in about a week, where we will bring you a new campaign. Start picking up right after this final session, about a month later. Picking up on the same timeline as the Enders and their whole experience. Some would wonder what would happen to the Kraken from way back when, and none would know. But that is a story for another time and another place. We come back to the players and unmuting them, so hopefully they won't say anything stupidly as I unmute them, as I read out what actually was expected to happen.
No.
That's a lot of bodies, man. I don't know about this.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Hush. Alright, so first off, before I go into what was expected to happen, are any of you guys surprised by what happened to a lot of the characters of note?
No,
Yeah,
I'm
a
just
little.
glad that the ring worked.
That's fair.
I'm surprised how to feel. Like, I didn't expect Kurgan to get married to Olivia. That threw me for a little.
I'm wondering if Malthor's ever gonna have kids, but I suppose
I
it's
also
for me to
didn't
decide.
expect for us to actually be able to get the changelings and stuff. That was nice. I enjoyed
I'm
that.
worried about what's happening with the pirates a bit, because there goes
Yeah.
Tikva's other
Well,
lover.
hey, well, it's fine. We're an alliance.
As
He
far
could
as
still
the
be a
As
consort.
far as the pirate kingdom, that would have completely fallen, and they would have been the Ragnum would have been recognized as an admiral to the Tiefling lands. His kingdom would become a vassal state, and they would be recognized as a global merchant company for the seas.
Yeah. He could still take a shot.
I will mention
Pat on the back from
that
Malthor.
Tikva's attempts to rebuild and readjust the Nordic kingdoms would fail terribly as the dwarves, orcs, and Heli continue to try and slowly colonize and work on deals to take those pieces of land for themselves. The Nords would scatter.
Dang. Well, they're invited to our great empire,
It's fair.
where their great figure of history, Cyrus, can be noted from.
I will also note, Kurgan did not marry out of love. This was out of a deal. So
No, I made a joke on tax reasons when
No.
you were saying that.
powerful magic user was the only reason, and it was for political. So there's very little love
Yeah.
in that.
Kurgan never.
They still like
never
each other. They enjoy a drink together.
I thought, pretty sure her last lover she murdered in something, so
I mean, to be
I
fair,
thought.
one of
Yeah.
her lovers was Zaya, so you know.
All right. Look at the
Well,
very
yeah,
least,
how does
Kurgan's
it be
wife-
like having my second?
No, look at the very least. Kurgan's wife doesn't hate him, and that's all you could ask for.
Yeah.
Oh wait, Cyrus, I didn't mean that when I said that.
Yeah, technically, Cyrus got Alluvia's sloppy seconds.
So, for
And the
those-
goats.
For those wondering what was going to happen, I was expecting to happen.
Yeah.
So the war would be named the War of Redivinity. That is a fact. That war would be forever known as that. To some, it would be the war to end all wars, but to others, and the true title in the history books would be the War of Redivinity. In note for both the gods, some gods falling and some rising, which means I get to rewrite some stuff later, which will be fun.
Nice.
So the first thing was the first expectation was that Zilpip was going to lead the army of the Heli and completely nuke, as he had planned, nuke the entirety of Dragon's Gate and kill all three armies. He actually had a plan to launch a full-on nuclear strike spell that he had been building
Thanks,
up.
still, Pip.
And that word would have reached Tenem, who would have gone and hunted down Zopip before that could happen, or hunt down Zopip's sons and kill them.
Oh, he has sons? Oh, I forgot, yeah.
Yes.
Those
Zopip
fuckers.
has 2 sons, who are serving.
Yeah, the ones I
Tikva.
could have married one of those fuckers.
Yep.
Hate 'em.
Zaya was expected to become Empress and then be killed by the High Elven King during battle. The king who likes to eat people. As it would have been poetic, as she tried to help, or she assisted him at one point to take Dragon's Gate. And would lead to the main reason why Zopip didn't like Rejected Potential, because of the fact that she let this fucker in.
I don't even remember that. Wait, when was that?
That was during the when you guys went to Dragon's Gate. I don't think you
Yeah,
were there
yeah.
for that session.
That was when frickin' Van Zorwin was still alive.
Yeah, you guys opened.
Yeah, that was at the
contract.
one session I missed where
Yep.
you guys like kicked Zilpip and them into like a beach dimension or some crap with the Rakshasa or something. I thought there was something that happened when I was gone with.
Something
yeah,
like that.
yeah. I was just vibing.
So Trinitas was to lead his army of Yuan-Ti with his mother, the Black Queen, as she's called, and the Orc tribes to invade the southern Tiefling kingdoms and then eventually march on the Dwarven kingdoms. Tautler was to ally with the Duragar, Elethians, and Goblins, and basically push and genocide all dwarves from there, which was happening, but that was ended. The Giants would help in the slaying of the High King, and Faltharn would take the table of the High King, as he is the god who was basically almost killed by the High King in the first battle in the Age of Chaos for defending the mortals and trying to protect them.
Sorry, buddy.
Yep. And then
Actually, I don't think he's gonna hold a grudge.
So basically, with Zopip orchestrating all of this, and by killing that many people, he would have eventually gained enough magical power due to it, as well as enough divine power, would have ended up being forced into godhood, and that would have renamed the age to the Age of Redivinity rather than the Age of Peace, which is what it would be known as. And at that point, Cyrus was expected to be killed in single combat by either Zopip or Pip-Liz. Captain Ricard would become king of the Pirate Nation, as well as take over the Nords, Rakshasa, and what was left of the Changelings. And eventually, the CR series would end up rising up and causing a full-on rebellion amongst the Warforged and what was left of them.
That might still happen.
The CR series has been deactivated at this point.
Yeah.
So.
Damn.
Yeah.
But yes, so that was the expectations of what would happen. I had no plans for Kurian. I never expected him. To be fair, though, I wrote this mid-campaign, so, I didn't even know Chaston very well at that point.
Nope.
I also didn't have anything planned for Tren. I had no experience for Kips. No one sees Kips after this, by the way. He just vanishes. He's never seen from again.
He went to the new dimension with Zilpip, and they're having lemonade together.
But,
the ship no one expected.
One of his experiments ripped a hole in reality. He's now stuck in his own dimension of lemons.
Yep. That's exactly
Infinite mention of lemons and rats.
Yep. So yeah, that was.
What was your original plan for Malthor then?
I didn't even expect Malthor to make it that far.
Well, because it was mid-campaign, so it was probably around.
Logic.
Well, it was probably you wrote this around like the vampires, right? When
I
Malthor
wrote
was
this
kidnapped.
before Zaya was killed.
Oh.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
given my
yeah.
penchant for having
So you
characters
didn't even
die.
know anything. You didn't know Tikva would be back.
Nope.
So so that's why you thought Zaya would be Empress, is because Tikva wasn't around to take over.
Yep.
Yeah, no, Zaya wouldn't. Even if Tikva was like, "Yo, you want to be queen?" Zaya would be like, "Heck no, me and my hubby are retiring.
Yep.
Fuck that noise."
There will be. I will state this for anyone who's watching and wondering: Malthor would end up adopting children and starting an orphanage, basically, to help people.
We all got children in the end.
Yeah. But
No, Freya didn't. Freya is probably better off not having kids.
Your children are your mental challenges and trauma.
Unless
Those
Freya
are
and
your
Torin
burdens.
hook up later on, but that'll be something
I
else.
will also say that Tenem just disappears from history completely.
Good.
So,
I knew we should have eaten that dead guy.
Yeah, but yeah. So, any questions on it as far as it goes?
What would have what was exactly happening when Freya was trying to suck out his divinity?
Yeah.
She was absorbing Zilpip's magic, and Zilpip's magic was unlimited at that point. He had so much magical ability. Well, it wasn't Zilpip himself, Piplis, who had so much magical ability because he imitated Zilpip that you were basically, it was infinite. It would have killed you if you hadn't rolled better, or if you had rolled worse.
Thank God for the dice like me. I died. Freya died the best way possible, and then got brought back by regenerating from a single blood cell. What the hell are you talking about?
No,
She
that was
that shit.
That was a given power. That was in respect to gaining, or for Cyrus gaining his godhood.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much anybody that was killed
Deadpool.
in Cyrus's goal or fight to become a High King was given free life for it.
Oh, so all the soldiers that died for him got back.
No, common
That's
soldiers
good.
did not.
Oh, just notable people.
Yep.
Okay, that makes more sense.
So a soldier killed like an entire platoon. He got brought back, but otherwise,
the populations definitely dropped after this because that was a massive war. The casualty was
Yeah, the
around
tieflings
30,000.
are gonna need new people to come into the Tiefling Kingdom. Hey, we're cleaning up what was the old capital. I'm sure the property value there is lower due to the battle. If
my
anyone
only other
wants to
question
keep
is,
land there.
did Freya ever end up back in that cave and enjoy just a meal with the dragon?
She ends up back in the cave that she originally was planning to. I did mention that, yep, and spends her life tinkering there.
And she gets married to the lady there.
No, she'd actually just spend time talking with that dragon.
No,
in all honesty.
I like that Freya got a good ending because I didn't expect she would.
What's
And
up?
the fact that Freya probably worked with Malthor to create the steam engine is amazing.
Yes, Kurgan? What's up?
What was in the Helm Shaper armory? Did he find anything notable?
He never went. There was no reason. I mean, with a world of peace, there was no reason to go there.
Why go to an armory when the world's at peace?
There
I'll be
was
curious.
ancient artifacts on the level of like this was gear created by Hemescus. So this is items all the way back from the Age of Chaos.
Oh, yeah.
So
so
I guess the
Hemescus
key
is
is now
Normax
family
time.
heirloom.
yep, it's still on Kurgan's neck to this day. So
Note,
Oh, Gold said he
note
had
for the
something
rest
for me,
of
but What
it.
was he?
I'll tell you. Yeah, go ahead, Troy.
I was just gonna say, note for the rest of you, the robe that Cyrus had at the end was the robe of an Archmage, and it was black.
Yep.
Which means he was actually lawful evil towards the end there.
Mm-hmm.
But once his goal was accomplished, I pictured he quickly shifted away from it again. But yeah, at the end he actually
Every evil thing he ever did.
No. So I will say that
Cyrus
Cyrus would still stay lawful evil just because of the fact that he would, due to his strangle on the Pantheon, he would have to do some pretty dark shit. So.
He leans into the lawful because of Zaya being there to.
Well, it's not
Yeah.
Malak. Oh, shit.
Yeah, because he was lawful-ish evil, maybe worse than that, but yeah, because he actually sacrificed.
Did he ever tell Anton
mages.
about the situation?
So at most, he might have just shifted upwards to being lawful neutral.
What?
No.
Still willing to do something evil if it needed it.
No, yeah, it would probably make sense. He'd still be lawful evil, probably.
And Kurgan, what was your question? I know you said you had one.
Gaul
Uh-huh.
wanted me to meet with if I survived.
Yep.
What was?
Ogum did.
So Gaul in the end, when you
Yeah, Ogum.
Ogum. So in the end, meeting with Ogum, you would learn the truth of the clan of Zarius, that you were actually the true kings of the Dwarven Empire, that your family was the original House of Stone, but but due to a problem that Ogum really doesn't elaborate on. Your family basically was kicked out and an imposter put on the throne with claiming the same name. Your family actually originally originates from the mountain, the first Dwarven king. So you come from true divinity, whereas the Dwarven king that Trinitas would usurp was not at all an actual member of House Stone. So technically, you have claim on the Holy Dwarven Kingdom more than anybody else. And your family descends from gods.
Okay.
Yeah. A god long forgotten. The only other thing you would
Right.
learn about Ogum is that his name, and let me pull up the name on here, because I have to pull it up. For those who watch my video, those lore videos later, you'll find out his name, who he is.
Question.
The Grom the Mountain was Ogum's actual name. Yes.
Oh.
Go ahead, Tikva.
Does because the Senior
mountain, right.
said, did the handprint on Cyrus that fully dissipated, or is there still like a hint of a hand, like a paw print on him? For comedy reasons, I must know.
No, that paw print did dissipate when Divis died.
Okay. Aw, darn. It would have been a funny thing if you just had like a paw birthmark somewhere.
Yeah. Cyrus was killing a lot of people beforehand.
Yeah, let's just not mention that. Well, yeah, let's not mention that to Zaya. She's been through a lot. She needs a resting period.
But yeah, no, you guys.
200 years later. Honey,
Do
you know how we had help saving your ass? Yeah, I did that basically on a mass grave of my own creation.
The blood on my hands. Yeah, what did do we get to invite mortals to the god wedding? The godly wedding? And is my cousin invited to that?
Yeah, it would have taken I mean, you guys can take mortal form anytime you'd like, just like the High King.
Oh,
could.
so I could go visit Zaya can go visit
Oh, yeah.
her namesake, Zaya Jr. That's nice.
Not to bother mentioning, come and visit Malthor to get something made for you, because he had an idea to make something for you.
But yeah, no.
Check on Malthor, check on everyone,
You
enjoy
guys-
the world.
I mean, you should be
Get
proud.
handed
You managed to do something that even the notorious Zilpip didn't, and that was take down.
Although,
a god that
Anton-
powerful.
Well, we're gonna have to discuss whose last name we take, because, you know, Galadron's a cool name and all, but, you know, I think Ravensong does sound just a tad bit cooler. No.
Man.
I'm gonna be
Galasong.
Just ending ruined
Ravendron.
Revise.
Not necessarily, Chaston. For your goal, you could just have them instead serve Kurgan. Because remember,
Well, no,
Dragon's Gate
not-
was a very
not-
mixed kingdom.
Not that part. That's not the part that ruins it.
Oh, what?
He's gone. I can't get the blessing anymore.
It's true. You can message me later about the whole thing, though. Yeah.
I've decided my next character might be Galric's son.
God.
I mean, since it's impossible, I don't see a reason not to tell them now.
Sure.
It's,
Go ahead.
and
That's the plan.
Yeah. Go ahead if you want.
he
That's fine.
was gonna be Zilpip's apprentice.
Oh my
I
god.
thought his
Why?
and everything.
Yup.
I mean, he can technically claim that.
No,
That's
he was gonna have
still-
an actual
Oh!
blessing.
That is something I need to mention. Thank you for reminding me. So Zilpip's plane of existence still exists. It's now considered a legendary artifact. It holds all of the knowledge that Zilpip ever obtained, and all of his magic is still in it. So theoretically,
Oh,
anybody
God.
who claims that thing is going to have all of his knowledge that ever existed, as
Does-
well as all of his magical ability.
See,
my
if
new
Freya
goal.
would have known about
Freya.
that would have been Freya's goal too.
So does that mean, like, people in the next campaign that takes place in Same World could be, like, followers of Cyrus, followers of Zaya, like,
yep.
under... Nice. Time to play a paladin for the first time ever. Paladin of peace under Zaya.
I don't have to build a faction anymore. I just have a kingdom.
Yeah, and to be fair, Zilpip had apprentices. They just some of
Some
them
by
died,
force?
some left. Yeah.
Yeah, but part of his plan
Like,
required a direct
Zaya.
title.
Oh, and I will mention Chuck does end up gaining a princely title and ends up retiring to the
Oh.
colonies to reign over
I
them.
completely
My only
forgot
other
about
question is,
that
did
son.
Malthor ever become a lord like he had?
No, Malthor is because of the fact of his god's requirements, he would become the head of the church instead.
Ah,
Nice.
Pope.
Yep.
Oh yeah, does Zaya ever get to introduce Cyrus, albeit awkwardly, to Chuck?
Yeah, that's gonna be a fun conversation. I can't wait for that one.
Yep.
No,
Yep.
this needs to be cleared up now. Chuck,
Yeah.
Zaya's first son.
Yeah.
What are you
Through
doing?
time traveling.
I told you, yeah, Chuck is, he ended up in charge of the colonies of the Tiefling lands. He is
Yep.
a lord.
Tikva, you know, she acknowledges him.
He's
She
recognized,
helped-
he's
he
a
helped
Silver
the child.
Song, but he is not, he's considered a branch of the Silver Song, so he won't inherit the throne.
Yeah, that's for Zaya.
Yeah.
Are you ever gonna visit your son?
Probably not.
When Zaya's calmed down and made peace, I feel she'd have changed and would visit him to
on his
apologize for
deathbed,
being an
still
awful
looking as young
mother.
as possible.
God damn it. Oh man.
Listen, she was going through a lot, and he was taken from her from Zilpip. She didn't have time to visit a son. Now she does, though.
I'm surprised
Now
I'm surprised you lot managed to survive. I really am. I was honestly
Yeah.
the roles I had set up. I was expecting. To be fair, I was most expecting for Cyrus to try and challenge the High King into actual one-on-one combat. At
Cyrus is
first.
smarter than that.
Oh,
No one expected Freya to thwart the White King.
No, I didn't
Nope.
expect that, but yeah, that's why I was like, okay, this is gonna be a longer session because there's gonna be a major fight. But no, it went through. So
The idea popped in her head when you introduced Neknej. She's a history buff. She's heard of him.
that's fair.
Slightly.
So would you say Freya, like, biting the High King is one of the things that, like, turned the tide? What other
Yeah.
things, like, really turned the tides when it came to the ending that we did?
That you guys decided to go and rescue Zaya instead of going out and helping Cyrus. Cyrus didn't need your help. I'm
no,
gonna be honest.
oh yeah, no, definitely. That we figured that much.
So I was expecting you guys to go charging out there, which would have lost you the support. Because Zelm and Mel's were prepared to, like I said, they were fulfilling the future, what was expected of the future. Oh, that is something I will mention. Last thing I forgot to add to the epilogue. In the final thing of the epilogue, as everyone's kind of grown to peace and about a few years have passed at this point, the 3 towers in Dragon's Gate finally unlock, as Kurgan was never able to open them as these things were magically sealed. And in all 3 towers, each of them had a sword of a different color. One was gold, one was silver, and one was bronze.
Wait, who stole Barge's sword? What?
I never said Bardros was the one with the actual sword, I just made you think it was.
Kip
Like,
had
you did
the
outright
Staff
tell me
of
it was
Peace as
very
well, or whatever he had.
Yep. Remember,
You did
I...
outright
sword.
tell me that was, but okay, I'll let it pass.
Huh?
You did outright tell me that
I know,
Barge
I did
had-
tell you it was. I do that on purpose. Don't ever trust when I tell you something.
I'm
else,
gonna
actually.
tell you something. He lied.
A lot.
Like
I
a
mean,
liar.
Well,
Your
yeah,
your character would know better.
No, but that was one of the things I was waiting for you guys to discover, but none of the 3 towers had any reason to go into them. So, yeah. And the Sword of Joyus was not one of the swords that you were expecting. So.
Well, how many, like, mysteries or, like, quest ties and stuff like that, like the towers, did we just completely miss in the campaign?
Well, you skipped most of Cyrus and Anton's story, which I expected, to be fair.
The Nordlands, yeah.
No, it wasn't
Oh.
just the Nordlands. There was a lot more to it. So if you guys had gone into the basement of the, or into the dungeons, you would have been able to find Cyrus's old teacher, his old wizard teacher, like the actual body of this man, not the vampire version you guys thought you found. That looked like him. So that wasn't actually him. That was a construct. But I never brought it up because it was never actually checked out, which was fine.
Yeah.
And you would have found out that Cyrus was actually part of one of the main houses of the Heli, as well as you would have found out that they are one of the first species or houses, as well as the only noble house to ever master time magic completely, which would have given Cyrus even more magic, which would have been fucking scary. Let's see. Kurgan, missed out on the Helm Shaper thing because of the key. He was never able to use it. Y'all never went to the Changeling to go find the Changeling group to go and save
or
work
get
with them.
get the armor from that
Yeah.
one prince, which I guess worked out because we have an alliance now or whatever.
Let's see. Oh, the you guys never visited the Rakshasa city, which I had planned for, where you guys would have gotten introduced
Yeah, I didn't
to
like them.
a full actual history of the world that the world that merged and what actually happened.
Oh, well, too late now.
Trying to think, what else did we miss?
Did we miss anything on Malthor or Freya's end?
I'm trying to think. Let me see. I've got my notes up here. Let me pull that back up. Because I had full story quests planned for each character, but I know most of the time people skip them, so which I'm fine with. Let's see.
Don't do it on purpose.
No,
it
it's
just
fine.
happened.
There's just something that's a little more urgent happening.
Like trying not to die, which was 90% of Zaya's life.
No, Malthor you hit everything on for what I was expecting.
Dang.
Yeah.
What about Tikva and Zaya? I mean, I know Zaya died early, but...
So Zaya did get to complete her quest, which I called, where's the name of it?
Coming Queen?
No, Reconquest of the Tiefling Lands. So, basically, every quest I had originally designed for the RP was a mix of one of the characters and Dulkin at the beginning, because of the fact that I had him planning to pick up armor from each of the, or a piece of armor from each of them. But that fell through. And let's see. Long Forgotten and Dead was going to be Fell's quest, that E2's, which never got pushed through. You guys kind of found some of it, but yeah, you didn't find much, because you didn't have a chance to go down there. So you didn't find out...
what's happened to Itu's son?
He's still around.
Who's out there?
Yeah.
Nice.
And Zorwin's still in the crown, cursing.
Did
like,
Tikva
No,
ever
Zorwin was revived. He is alive
again?
now.
Yes, he is going to screw changelings.
Oh my god.
Dawn is currently living in the Storm Giant Kingdom.
Did Tekva ever get to
Nope.
meet her again, or anyone
Nope.
from the previous party?
No.
Okay.
Kilxius you did, because
that was Zaya's.
You did meet Bastion, because Kilxius was carrying Bastion.
Yeah, my friend.
You did miss George
What
Bush.
about George?
Yeah, you guys did actually miss George Bush. I had a plan for him. Yeah, what's up? What was that, Anton?
No, I was just laughing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, George Bush the Bush.
So yes, let's see, the Queen's Truth. So you did miss out on Ben Zorwin's quest line.
Yeah, he kind of exploded.
He gave his life in a heroic accident.
Helm Shaper Hold, you missed out on. So that was originally going to be for Malthor, which you guys didn't get a chance to do. And then, well, it was originally Dulkin, then it was Malthor, and then it was going to be Kurgan's, but Kurgan came in so late that, there was no reason to go do it. To be fair. Let me see. What other quest did I have planned? Captain Ricard, so I had his all set up, but you guys did his quest without him. As he was already dead.
Yep.
Took over the pirates successfully.
Lost Son of the Hero King. So Cyrus's story, you kind of did, but you missed a few things of it, which was to be, you didn't have a chance to fully go through it. Let's see.
He became an NPC. What about Anton? Did Anton have anything?
Anton had a minor story, but most of it was taken over from Cyrus, so...
yeah.
Not really, yeah, you guys, you didn't really go into any of my
And
quests.
nothing special got really written for Freg. She came in so late.
Yep. Pretty much if it's after level 12, I usually don't write a quest for them. There's no real reason. Because you guys are at that point already trying to find things, or dealing with, like, the main situation. But, you guys had some, you guys missed some stuff, but you also explored story I didn't actually expect to expand on. I never expected you to go to the Tabaxi lands. I didn't ever expect you guys to end up in the Gnomish lands and watch that fall, twice. Let's see.
Yep.
Where else did you guys end up that I didn't expect? I really was not expecting you guys to go to the Nordic lands originally, because even with Cyrus, I thought you'd skip that, to be honest.
Nope.
Let's see.
We wanted allies, man.
Or the Pirate Cove. That was the other one I wasn't originally planning fully out. So you guys did manage to get some pretty good score in there. You guys are now the second party to ever survive a full campaign to the end. So.
Woo!
Nice.
Yep.
Well, half survived. Tikva died, came back. Zaya's died, became a goddess. So, there's some.
No. Let me put it this way. As one of the people who survived the first one, we're lucky.
Yeah. And you managed. You avenged the time fuckers. So, go ahead. Sorry, Anton.
I was just gonna say Cyrus basically just warlocked godhood, so
yeah.
All of his levels in wizard. He's now
yeah,
all
who
levels
was that
in warlock.
god guy that he summoned at the end? I thought Cyrus was gonna sacrifice himself to die at the end there, and I got freaked out.
So
wasn't he one of the ultimate? He was like one of the 5 penultimate.
He is
God.
Yes. He is one of 5 gods called of the Beyond tier. So basically, they don't exist on any divinity. They are elements of the multiverse. So the world, the way I have it set up and designed, is there was 12 multiverses. For every 2, they were a split of each other, basically taking common concepts and then splitting them off in different directions as experiments to see what happens. In your case, Silencia and Incremia were split from each other, and the experiment was one had magic in the air, being the mana vein, and the other grew their magic through crystals and basically used a steroid. Well, they came together, which none of you ever found out exactly what happened and why that was.
No.
And so that, causes it to now only have 11 multiverses. Zilpip is in one of those multiverses off in the distance where gods never existed. But the god you summoned, specifically, his name is Thief, the god of time. He is the older brother of Alenta. And he is the creator of the 12 multiverses. Alongside...
So Father Time.
Yes. Alongside Alicia, the god of light, Tensub, the god of darkness, Severta, the god of gravity, and Kedliz, the god of cataclysm. So, and Zilpip got to meet Tensub, the god of darkness, before he got banished off to a new realm. So, and actually, I'm going to be honest with you, Zilpip saved you guys. If Zilpip hadn't made that deal, the High King had to call in a favor to get rid of Zilpip because Zilpip was going to cause him more issues in his plan.
Mm-hmm.
If Zilpip hadn't taken that favor or that deal, the High King would have still had that favor from Tensub, and he could have used it just to wipe Cyrus off the face of the earth before he got that spell off.
Damn, that would have been bad.
Yep. So, in a sense...
Zilpip, I begrudgingly
I put everything
acknowledge...
into Malthor trying to be able to withhold Normac from being killed, which who the hell was that guy that tried to kill him?
So, Chaston asked me a few days ago, he's like, hey, so I know you mentioned there was another demigod. Is it a monk by chance? Because of the fact I know once they get to a certain level, they become, like, ageless. And I was like,
well, I originally mentioned you could because it makes an ageless warrior that no matter how old they are, they're powerful.
Yep, and
so, you went...
Something similar happens with high enough levels in Oath of Ancients.
I had a character. I had built a level 20 monk way back when as part of serving the Pope with the High King. That was another portion of this campaign I was expecting you guys to go deal with. No one ever went to it. Grim Legacy didn't do it either.
No one wants to touch that.
And so Flute was his name. He was a level 20 monk that was about, I think, like 400 or 500 years old. He was an heir genasi, and he was sent by the Pope to kill Normac to try and start eliminating important figures in this war to keep the High King in power. And so he was sent up there, and I had forgotten about this character until Chaston had mentioned it to me. I'm like, yeah, I have a character like that. You know what? That'd be a really fun character to mess with. And one of his main things is he was a dart gun user. So that flute he pulled, or that lute he pulled out, was a dart gun that he was.
You mean flute?
He also had 30.
No, it was a lute.
So he had a big like guitar thing that was a dart gun. Oh my god!
That he played like a flute. Yep. Don't ask.
Oh my god.
It was a whole joke I made, and it was stupid. I don't know why I made it. I don't know when I made it.
I will say this, Malthor would probably slowly start losing levels in Cleric and try to switch to being purely Paladin.
That's fine.
For the ageless bit.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that's what happened as far as it goes. So that's why he suddenly appeared randomly.
Nice.
Or
do you need our character sheet saved of our
So
our
before
characters?
you leave the campaign, I am going to be downloading each of your character sheets for...
Wait, no, there'd be one boon that you can go after instead.
I do need the slot open because I have my max 6 capacity.
Give me a minute.
I'm good. I'll keep mine on hand just in case.
Yeah, well, DM, how much XP did we get for this fight, by the way?
Oh yeah, actually I can answer that. I do have the thing set up.
I'd love to see if Brea hit level 20 from this. I doubt it, but
it would be funny.
Let me go to the encounters. One sec. I'll do that, and then I'll download your character sheet. So don't delete them yet.
There's one boon because Malthor's getting XP. And it's enough to get the boon. That is the boon he will get.
So Kurgan would gain 305,000 XP.
Jesus.
For fighting the High Queen. For the rest of the party, you would each get 22,143 XP for fighting the High King, because it gets split.
How much? 433?
22,143.
Okay.
Yep. So yes,
Mine was
technically.
Hey, I leveled to 19.
There you go.
I'm level
22,133.
43.
43.
Yeah. Once you guys, if you guys want to level your characters, you're welcome to. You know, or if you're good, I'll just download them as they are and. Okay.
Freya didn't level up, but that's fine. Malthor would have actually worked towards the Boon of Immortality.
Whatever you want to do, that's fine.
Malthor would grab the Boon of Immortality.
He's good now.
Yeah, I'm gonna start exporting these so that way I can actually get them, because that is.
Well, let me choose my new level up
You're
stuff
good.
before you do
I'm
mine.
downloading the main people here at this point, so for like
Oh,
the main
that's a good one.
NPCs.
Okay.
Let me rename Rose.
I just added in the Boon of Immortality onto Malthor because at this point that'd be the last boon he'd take, so that he'd be ageless.
That's fair.
And be able to stick around and assist the Tiefling Empire as it goes on, and try and keep the world at peace as well.
I mean, hey, that's fair.
Enjoy your loneliness of being immortal.
Yeah.
Bitch, I have god friends. I'm not lonely.
Yeah, Zaya and Cyrus.
Gets bored, goes up, gets invited to go to heaven just to fuck around for a bit.
Yeah, man.
Alright. Burr.
Why not?
Okay.
Also, I
Plus, this
tried
means
to
that-
be.
This means that
Oh,
no one
God.
can usurp the popehood from him.
Yeah, I tried to be poetic when I had Tikva wield the Vorpal Rapier like in honor of Zaya, but she never used it, so
Yeah.
it was just there.
Hey, it happens, and you're good. I'm really amazed you all managed to just survive this. I fully expected you all to die, especially because once Wolf took me up on my offer from the hiking, I was like, you guys don't have the support. Zopip had plans to support you all, like, through this fight, so, like, adding to help out. Alright, I'm downloading, so, alright, you said you're still working on yours, right? So.
Yeah, I just selecting my newer spell
And
for it,
I'll start with
and
Malthor
my
and start
stuff.
working up.
Mhm.
Well, I forgot to add the description of Boon of Immortality.
Mine's done. You just want to grab mine.
Okay.
I'm good.
Troy, are you gonna be changing yours at all, or are you good?
I leveled it up,
Okay.
but I'm not. I technically could pick a couple spells, but I'm not going to delete my character. So
Oh, it's
There we go.
Simple
Simple
thing.
explanation for Boon of Immortality.
So
Doesn't
the
age.
only reason I'm doing this, especially for those who watch at home, as a thing I like to do, every time a campaign finishes, usually a few minutes later, I will have the art done up. So the Amateur Hour had theirs. Rejected Potential will get theirs as well.
So for Rejected Potential, would Tikva also be included in the drawing again, but like updated
Yep.
design?
Yep.
Nice. I would like to see her growth. I think that's.
It's gonna be nice to see Freya and Malthor in the same
Cyrus
fucking
and
image.
Zaya will just be in the background, yeah, with Malthor
Making out.
and Freya. Not with Malthor.
Alright.
He'll be there.
Kurgan,
Malthor will
I've
be
got
back
yours.
there.
So.
You got mine?
Yep,
Good?
you're good.
Malthor and Freya are ready.
Okay.
Freya
Cyrus
just sitting
and
talking to
Anton
her
are good.
sword.
Yep.
How
I
sassy
updated
does the
Cyrus to
sword
say
get
hi.
throughout time?
Yeah, I see that. I got you.
Parentheses, High King.
Yep, you're good. Works. I got that. And I'm getting Anton next. Alright.
Oh, that question just popped into my mind.
What?
Does Northrend still retain the ability to eat weaponry?
Yep.
Huh.
You're not touching any of my kingdom's weapons.
So
No. I'm gonna say this. If anyone needs a disarmination, Freya will go in and just play like, hey, I'm here to work with y'all, and just eat their magic weaponry.
Hi.
Yep.
Just slowly going through eating magical weaponry.
Alright. So I've got Cyrus and Anton. Let me get Freya next and Malthor. Alright, give me a minute. Okay, click to download. Perfect. Ooh. Now, I mean, and we're still on stream, so now, I mean, like I said, if you got questions or anything you want to mention, now is your chance.
The other thing I'm wondering is, will it ever develop the certain death attribute?
Maybe.
Every other attribute showed up immediately, but
Yep. That's not a magical thing, that's why.
well, it is. Weapon of certain death is magical. It magically prevents them from
Here, one sec. I have to-
from
Yes.
from healing. Jesus. brain.
Until their
turn.
next round, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'll think on it for now. But there are going to be artifacts that will be created out of this as well. I will mention that. You won't get to choose, nor will I be telling you what items items become artifacts. So,
Look,
Freya's never letting go of that sword even if she dies, it's getting buried with her.
To be superior. It's
Yep.
okay.
No, you guys are good. Don't worry. All right, and I got Tikva, so you're good.
Yep. Question. I have a question. Although it's not for you, DM. It's for Troy. How does Cyrus propose to Zaya when he does it?
Oh,
I'm curious to hear. I want to hear
And
this
does he
before.
have Malthor make the ring?
Actually, he already had the ring. That
Damn.
he
From
discovered
Divis Senior.
quite a while ago. I don't remember when he got it exactly. I think after the initial
Senior.
reunion, he probably takes her back temporarily to the Tiefling lands. Actually to the original capital area that was demolished
nice.
from when they first met. And
That
probably
bridge, that
proposes
fateful
there.
day.
Yeah, somewhere right in there. Probably proposes there.
That's fair.
Immediately a hag pops out of
Nice.
the water. Have you seen Zorwin lately?
Yeah.
Bastard didn't come back.
God damn it.
Go away.
And Zoran himself pops up.
God damn it.
Ghost of Zorwin pops out of thin air. Go the fuck back to sleep.
Yep. Alright. Okay, so I'm deleting the campaign page now, finally, of the Rejected Potential, just as a heads up. So I will say, for those watching this epilogue session, this campaign officially started on March 5th, 2019. It has been over 2 years, 2 years and 4 months, and 20 days that this campaign went on for. So this is now officially the longest campaign of all of the D&D campaigns on the channel. So, congrats.
I'd also pull to say that it's the most fulfilling.
I mean, at the end, yeah, you guys got your thing. You didn't have to deal with anything.
We had a lot of cool stuff happen.
We didn't have to deal with a High King throwing us in an arena with the gods and being like, yeah, if you beat one, you win.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. And if you do delete Tikva, if you want to send me a level 20 version of Zaya, according to what you think she would be like at that point, and just send me a link to it so I can download it, that'd be great.
I probably could.
Cool. Appreciate that. Because I'll put that way I can put the character sheet, and if you want to put the description and everything of her by the end of it, what you think, then I'll put her in the.
Sure.
I'll make sure she gets added to the surviving members.
So definitely wouldn't have any more warlock levels, huh?
No, no.
With the Kraken dead. Speaking of, when the now that she is a god and stuff, does she still have warlock levels technically, or because the Kraken died? So she'd be
Kraken's not dead,
pure
by the way.
bard. Oh,
No,
well,
but you can hunt down the Kraken and try and have some tea with
is
it.
not a god anymore. Or not Malthor. Fucking the Kraken's not a god anymore though. He loses his godhood.
Okay.
He's just he's just a sea monster at that point.
All right, so she'd be like full bard probably.
Yeah.
I can see Zaya hunting down the Kraken to sit down and have a talk with it, going, you can't do that anymore.
Listen, she didn't fulfill what it requested, and it didn't really help her a whole lot besides that one thing at the Capitol, so it's like, whatever. If it doesn't cause trouble, she doesn't care.
No. When his divinity gets removed, Zaya's just sitting down with him being like, you can't do it anymore.
Hey, so would you like to serve me? I could be your patron.
I got a quest for you.
I have a quest for you.
Keep the peace in the oceans.
I need you to go to the Sea Elf Kingdom and establish peace there because we have trouble reaching them. You know, our God signal gets interference in the water.
Oh, gods. Like I said, you guys did an amazing job. As far as it goes, I think this was an extremely rewarding campaign. I'm very happy with how you guys turned it out. I still find it funny no one ever figured out what was wrong with Tenem at that last fight, why he wasn't talking more. But
no,
that's
can
fine.
Can I throw out the idea that his soul was already fractured into pieces?
Or High King.
You're both wrong and right. Someone did claim his soul. Nope. The
High Queen.
No, it was the God of Death who finally claimed his thing. Yep. So he made a deal, and that deal ran out. So yes.
Well,
So my boy who wished his soul to the bottom level of hell,
Yep.
really did do something.
Yep. But as far as it goes, thank you all. I appreciate you joining us on this adventure. 2 years of adventuring. We've gone through so many party mates. Again, I can't say it enough. This was a great campaign. We're gonna, like I mentioned, we're gonna be taking 1 weekend off. So next weekend there won't be any D&D on Sunday. I will let you know who's gonna be joining for Sunday session coming for the next one. I will be letting everyone know by this Sunday what the new campaign's going to be about. I will also mention, since I am actually going out of town the following weekend, I won't be running D&D that weekend either, so I just thought about that.
Yeah, you'll be gone for 2 weekends, but
so
it's
it'll
fine.
be 2 weekends. However, that means I'm going to get to plan more, and it's going to give my players a chance to get a session 0 in ahead of time. So, and I will be recording that throughout the week with them. We'll find out who's going to join. I'm going to let the players decide, and I may actually let them decide what kind of concept they want me to run a campaign off of this time to make it a challenge for me, since it never goes my way anyways. So, thank you all. We really appreciate you all watching, those few who do, and those who watch us in the future, know this has been a long journey. The players worked their asses off to get here, and truly, I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do in their next campaign together. And see where we go from there. So, thank you all. Any last words from the party?
Fuck the gods!
Fuck the gods, be strong, and be resilient.
Is it Sunday yet?
Fair. Justin, anything from you?
No.
No homage to Steve or anything like that? No?
Oh, don't worry, Steve will rise soon. Don't worry.
Okay. Yes, alright, so look forward to that.
Ooh.
Thank you all for watching this, and we will see you guys on the next campaign. Alright.
Bye!